All right, what's up, guys? Aldo here. Welcome back. Always appreciate you guys hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel. If you are new, we're going to do an update on Bitcoin ETH. I want to talk about Polkadot a little bit. We're going to talk about the 30-year S&P 500 and NASDAQ a little bit as well today. So yeah, first thing that we could kind of notice here is a little bit of a, let me just go on logarithmic for a second so the chart's a little bit cleaner. But basically, you got money flow still curving upward here in the weekly. Your gapped RSIs are kind of, they're curving back up now. Maybe they want to, it's a little bit neutral here. It's a little bit like with the RSIs, you would kind of guess that they would, bring us downward, do something of this nature. But now you're getting a bit more neutral with them. They are kind of coming up, money flow coming up there. So that's that point. Also, gapped RSIs to the upside here. This is where it looks pretty good, in terms of the bullish case. This is where you could make the argument that this money flow is going to come up, these RSIs are going to come up a bit more, and price is going to maybe come up to 34K. So that's what we got to look at in terms of looking at these time frames. Kind of same thing with the 2-day. I like the money flow coming up. Your RSIs look like they could come up a bit more. This is the main case. This is the main case to come up to probably that spiral line pocket. Now, if we go on a logarithmic, if we go on linear spiral lines, we are hitting this point right here. As we speak, we are hitting this point, which is, it's a support and resistance point. I mean, if you look at the daily, you're about to kind of get, pretty soon you're going to get a bearish div, your VWAP starting to come down. You're going to get a bearish div in the daily. That's something that doesn't happen too often. The last time it happened was around here. You had a nice one here. You came down. You stopped a bunch of people out. Then you played out a lot more. So that's what we could potentially see happen here. You also got another, this area at 31K, you got a spiral line there that's going to be significant as well. If we move on to some of the lower time frames here, such as the 12-hour, you could kind of see the bearish divergence potentially forming here. Prices coming up, momentum waves kind of coming down. You could see that trying to form there. Also, you may see pretty soon a bearish div form on the 6-hour. So, and now we're seeing one on the 4-hour, and we're seeing one on the 3-hour with money flow coming out in the 3-hour. So we are coming into the weekend. It would probably be a little bit more of a risky. Any trade usually, in Friday afternoon Eastern time until kind of Monday morning is usually pretty risky because the market it likes to go sideways. It likes to really stop people out. There's less trading volume. So, but having said that, potentially trying to short down to 28.7 it's more likely to probably win than lose, if you get what I'm saying here. In terms of maybe entering that trade, you got to look at money flow crossover, especially see this 15-minute. We've got some good curvature there. We've been in the green for a long time, and you're coming down finally. Maybe that money flow crossover in the red could be what brings us down to this point. You also could form potentially a head and shoulder type pattern here, so that's more of that short-term trajectory downward. The last thing I want to show you guys on Bitcoin, still got that green dot on the monthly. That would be the case to probably come up to like 34K, what I was talking about, which is if we do come up to 34K, what we got to realize here is that let me show you Bitcoin dominance. What we got to realize here on Bitcoin dominance is, and this has really been bullish, we got to realize that this is probably going to keep going up. It just keeps making new highs here generally. This is probably going to keep going up regardless of what happens. If we go up, it's going to keep going up. And then when it finally, apologies for the traffic outside, when it finally starts to come down, it's probably going to still come up. And then that's where you start talking about a technical target up here at around 59%. Also, you got some traffic at around 55%. So regardless of what happens, I think Bitcoin is the main thing right now. Bitcoin is the main thing right now. So the main thing to be accumulating, the main thing to get into, to hold right now. And we're getting close to alts, but we want to wait till probably the next weekly bearish div on Bitcoin dominance could be a good place to look. Also, when this green dot confirms and also kind of plays out, you get another kind of momentum wave coming up. You get a bearish div right there, right to that point. So that's that area right there. And then 54, you may see it there. That's kind of lowest I could see it kind of peaking out. So so that's Bitcoin right now. Let's move on to Well, that was Bitcoin dominance. Let's move on to Ethereum. So Ethereum, similar ballpark, obviously because Ethereum keeps bleeding against Bitcoin that we could look at on this chart. Since it keeps bleeding, you probably would have at least a slightly higher likelihood of winning an ETH short rather than a Bitcoin short. Now, we are hitting kind of a significant point, which is our kind of June, July lows of 2022 almost. We could see a bounce here potentially. And at the same time, just like Bitcoin, pretty similarly, hitting a spiral line, also hitting a just big, this is a line of support resistance. I'm sure it's a fib level too, around 1610 right here. And you're starting to get, I believe, a bearish divergence right there on the, bearish divergence hitting off of that point. So most likely, the way I drew this, most likely you got a good shot of coming down. Obviously, a trigger wave in the 30-minute could bring us up a bit more. But if we wait till, 12-minute or 15-minute money flow crossovers, those are good places that would tell us most likely we're probably going to be heading down. So that's what we got to, keep in mind here. Coming into the weekend, it could get riskier if we do break upward. I mean, where was the trigger wave? Yeah, you got the 30-minute right there. I mean, in the most bullish of circumstances, you repeat kind of, maybe you repeat what you did here, last, that kind of area. That was almost a trigger wave at that point. I mean, you repeat that, where would that bring you up to? And then, 17, 18. That'd be your next kind of big spiral line right there. But if we zoom out, I'm sure there's something in between. Yeah, right at that point, a little bit higher, 1640. So, yeah, this is what you call range bound. We've been very range bound since August. This is what you call range bound here. The high area is going to be also 1730 right there. So that's Ethereum right now. When we look at kind of the higher time frames, I would say it definitely looks more bearish. All of your EMAs, hard to see, but all of your EMAs are in the gray in the weekly, money flow in the red in the weekly, RSI is curving down. These time frames that look bullish on Bitcoin do look bullish in ETH now. You get the two, kind of bold, bullish div from back there. They do look kind of bullish, but I wouldn't say they're as bullish as Bitcoin at the moment. But if we look at this, potentially that jump up back to the highs of the range, 17 something right now. We're in some interesting times now. If we want to, just for example, this was a trade setup that may work out kind of well. You have a bullish div on your 2-day for Polkadot, bullish div also on your daily for Polkadot as you're hitting a huge level. So this could be, just to show you guys, giving you kind of a freebie here, what I normally kind of post in the Aldo Empire in the VIP Discord. I'll link down below if you guys are interested. This is one of the things I'm looking at there, but be careful. You do have a weekly, yellow X. We did hit a first kind of take profit the way I did it. Already set up the trade so far, so that is that possibility. But we are hitting this point. See, this is that same point from, essentially that same point from October of 2020. So, if we lose there, let's just draw a, could draw kind of a $2.70. Oh man, I'm just trying to find. From when this thing came out to up here, that's a big point. Yeah, that's your pocket right there. If you lose that, the 260 area is going to be big. So we got to wait and see what happens. But in the coming months, not impossible for a lot of these things to drop down another 30%. So keep that in mind. I want to look at, all right, okay, so TLT, obviously kind of the inverse of the Treasury, a 30-year Treasury yield, yellow X right there. We are hitting a big point. Maybe you could jump here, maybe not. If we look at the 30-year, and a lot of people are talking about this, and this is what's keeping traditional markets more bearish, S&P 500, NASDAQ, this looks like it probably is going to get up to our next fib level at around 5.5% here. My guess is that that could be a major traffic stop. Maybe that's where we kind of taper out. Powell sounded kind of hawkish at the last meeting, so it kind of seems like he doesn't care. Maybe he'll bring it up higher. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but what I do know is most likely when you do finally see a bearish divergence on this monthly here, which could happen, potentially as we hit this point, rejecting from that point or coming down. If you do come up, 30-year mortgages, if you come up to this area, they're going to be almost 10%. If you do come up higher to this area, that's going to be pretty wild. So we got to wait and see here. I don't know if regional banks are going to be able to really, if Powell raises again, I don't know if they're really going to be able to handle that. So we'll see that probably the KRE start dumping again. So yeah, that's what we got to keep in mind here. S&P 500 right now. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but money flow coming out, looking a bit more bearish on the 3-day, 2-day as well, daily as well, that continuation. If you do repeat this area, You're probably going to come down to around 400. I think is very likely. We will see 400, within a month or two. I think that is very likely. So, monthly 2 red dot. I mean, nothing looks too good here. Blood diamond on the 16-hour. NASDAQ blood diamond on the 2-day. Money flow coming out. And then that point right there, I mean, especially if you do break down from this kind of channel we've been in, we've been pretty range bound since June. You break down from that channel, technical target is around 13.7K. So I do think within a few months, most likely you will hit that area, unless something different happens. You get a true wave on the weekly bringing us back up, but I think that's pretty unlikely. I think this is leaning very bearish right now. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the Dixie on the US dollar. And I mean, this is kind of, I mean, the weekly red dot money flow coming out, that's bearish. Monthly trigger wave. This is looking more bearish on the daily. Money flow coming out there. It does seem a little bit more bearish, but it's interesting how, I would say that would support more. This would a little bit support more of the bullish case for Bitcoin. However, you still have the technical target up here at around 109. So I'm a little indifferent on this. It's a little bit tough to say. Maybe, you'll come down a little bit more in the short term. Then you'll potentially jump up higher. So that's all the updates I have for now. If you guys are interested in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord, link down below. Also, if you want a good exchange to trade on, check out FAIRDESK, link down below. If you're a member of the premium Discord, we give you an additional kind of trading bonus with FAIRDESK. Also, if you sign up with my link, deposit any amount, you have a very good shot of winning. Deposit any amount and do one futures trade, you have a very good shot of winning a $100 trading bonus. So check that out as well. We do a very similar promo on MEXC as well. We announce the winners every week in the Discord, so check all those things out, guys. All right, guys, have a good one. Goodbye.